Hello and welcome to Bergkamp Wonderland, an Arsenal podcast. As someone who is key to keeping London moving, I want to thank you for coming and watching us today, or listening, dear viewer, as someone else says. And someone else who's key to the podcast is Danny. Hello, Danny. How are you?
I am very good, Carl. Thank you very much. I'm wearing a magnetic top, and luckily it's dark in here. I spent 10 minutes with a roll of sellotape, picking off all the dirt and the fluff and the dead skin and stuff. So rather than changing my top and putting a clean one on, because that's kind of the way I roll. How are you? You're looking good. Nice haircut.
Thank you. Do you want to tell the viewers of one thing you just discovered literally 30 seconds ago?
I'm always discovering new things. What was it to do with?
That your head fits in your archway.
Oh, yeah, look. I've got there's my archway, and my head fits perfectly in the archway. It's crazy. I don't know how that happens. It's crazy. It's like when the moon is 500 times smaller than the sun, which is why we get a perfect lunar eclipse. There we go, Carl. Spitting facts.
Yes, indeed. And someone who is key to keeping
Not much.
Norwich moving. Well, I wouldn't class him as a key worker, but somehow he classes himself.
Oh, it's
only Ellis Mel, isn't it? It's only Ellis Mel. Hello, Ellis.
Hello, the only real key worker on this podcast currently. That's actually, to be fair, Carl, that's probably the nicest intro you've given me. I was expecting a lot worse. So we move on.
I've changed for the last 30 seconds, but we'll go back to normal. So we are here to talk about Arsenal. I mean, obviously a lot has gone on in Arsenal in the last, I'd say, 2 weeks. I'm loath to kind of talk about the Super League because it's done and dusted. We spoke about it last week on the podcast, and obviously it's died a death. It's gone but not forgotten, I guess. I guess we'll bring it up later. So the first one I want to talk about is the Everton the game, because that was our last game that we played. Ellis, I know you didn't watch much of the game, but for me, I watched the game and I don't know, with Arsenal, Ellis, are you surprised by results or just disappointed? I mean, I remember when I used to watch Arsenal, and if they lost, it would ruin my whole weekend because I cared that much, and it was just, I didn't want to watch any football over the weekend. I want to watch match of the day, and it just ruined my weekend. And now I kind of just don't care anymore. Like, we lost to Everton, and it was a bad game, a very bad error by the goalkeeper. But do you find yourself like me, or do you still really care about Arsenal and the results?
I'm sort of like, I think it's the Simpson meme where they say, I don't expect much, but I'm still disappointed. And I'm sort of in that sort of stage of Arsenal. I'm not expecting much, but I am still sort of disappointed by the results that we've got. I didn't watch the game. I was on a night shift like a proper key worker. I didn't choose not to watch it, but it sounds like I didn't really miss out on much. And from the highlights that I have catched up on, there wasn't really much to sort of shout about. For me, the Premier League, I've got no expectations for us to be in a good position or finish in a good position come the end of the league. Our form has been fits and starts all season. And I've just come to the point where, a bit, not that I don't care, but it's not like you say, back in the day, it would ruin my whole weekend, same as you. But now it's just sort of like, it's just more of the same, really, isn't it? I'm used to the bland, boring, rubbish results that we're putting out at the moment. I think I'm a bit different. I'd say for the Europa League, I've firmly got all my eggs in one basket, the Europa League basket. If we see this sort of result against Villarreal, then that probably would ruin my league and I'd be a bit more upset. But as it is, it's just more of the same, really, isn't it?
I mean, I totally hear what you're saying. Danny, do you feel, and I don't know why I'm saying this, do you feel a bit sorry for Mikel Arteta? And by that, I mean, when a mistake happens, like the one that happened to Leno, you can't justify that. It's a mistake. It's a player's mistake. And Arteta is not on the football pitch kicking a ball. That is an obvious error. No, we didn't score a goal, but in that sort of, when you make mistakes like that, can you really blame the manager for the result? Or is it a case of, well, we didn't play well enough to actually get a goal, so you can blame the manager?
It's a bit like now Ellis has been promoted at work. He's in charge of some people. And if one of those people accidentally killed one of the patients, although Ellis didn't do it, he's going to be responsible for it because he's in charge of the people. You are in charge of people, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. That would ultimately fall on me if another nurse killed them.
So would you? How many times do you reckon your people underneath you could kill people before they start to ask questions about you? Because would you get away with it week after week for 14 months, 16 months like Arteta has?
I think the magic number would be 1.
I always thought the magic number was 3. Anyway.
I don't think I get that far with 3 people dying on my watch.
He's got to look at it, and I'd like a manager because as soon as Leno put that ball in, to get it on Arteta, and Arteta's probably thinking, I'm going to get the blame for this because you butterfingered twat, have let that ball in when there was absolutely no need for it. Xhaka, who should have been covering at left back, how on earth a person can run down the right wing where our left back should be, go round our left back, then run it. It's like an Etch-a-Sketch kind of mark, like I think someone was saying in the last show. Then you're just going in a straight line from the corner flag-ish area along the touch line all the way to the goal and put it through the goalie's legs. That's the kind of thing that you would have done on FIFA 97, where the AI was really rubbish. And you could get away with stuff like that, just dribble it the whole way, and then your goalkeeper to put it in. And you got to look at that and think, well, there is a fine line between how much blame is Arteta for picking these people and how much blame it is on the person for making a genuine error. And I don't think Arteta has any blame at all there.
But I guess we all saw the mistake by Leno. Ellis, do you think it was more of a concentration thing, or I don't know to say it's an ability thing, because clearly a goalkeeper of Leno's stature should be saving that all day, every day. But why do you think it was that he made that sort of mistake?
I don't know. Going back to sort of Danny's half criticism on Xhaka, I don't think you can really blame Xhaka for that goal. He's playing out of position at left back. He's not the fastest. He's going to make those errors unless you really do protect him with the midfield or the guys in front of him. But going back to your question about Leno, it's reminiscent of, I can remember David De Gea having like a really good season and everyone going on about how he's going to go to Real Madrid and like he's the best keeper in the league, yada, yada, yada. And then he's just gone to this, not form. He goes through these moments where he just lets in a clanger in or puts in his own net. And I think he's got a touch of that at the moment. Ever since we sold Martinez, rightly or wrongly, people have been bemoaning that. And it just seems like Leno's trying his best to sort of give people a reason to say that selling Martinez was the wrong keeper to sell. But I don't know. I think he's a good keeper. I just think he has got that in his locker. Is it a case of he doesn't really have much competition? Obviously, Josh would be the main guy to talk to about Matty Ryan as the reserve keeper, but it doesn't seem like he's really challenging Leno at the moment. Maybe it's just a bit of complacency. Maybe it's just a loss of concentration, like you say. But for me, it's a bad error. That goal shouldn't be going in. Like, Leno should do a lot better. And unfortunately, like Danny says, Arteta is going to get the blame for that because he has picked that keeper. He has been part of the process of deciding that Leno should stay and Martinez should go. And then Leno's gone and done that. And he's done numerous mistakes throughout this season and a couple before this season. I think he's a good... It sounds silly to say after seeing that go, and I think he is a good shot stopper most of the time. But he does have sort of just sometimes a weak wrist. Like he'll sometimes palm it or punch it straight to a player instead of palming it around the post out of play. And it's frustrating. And essentially, we've lost that game because of his error.
Danny, I hope you can get some stats for me. Just how many goals Leno has let in this season to compare to his previous 2 seasons. So, Ellis, just to ask you, stick with you for a second while Danny looks up those stats for me. Would you sell Leno this summer? I mean, I'm going to talk about the players who could stay and go later. But would Leno, for you, be someone that you would keep for next season? Or, and I don't know who, I have no idea who, but do you think there should be an upgrade for Leno out there somewhere?
But you probably come to the wrong guy in terms of who should we bring in to replace Leno, because I don't really watch much football outside of Arsenal and the Premier League. So my knowledge about goalkeepers further afield than Premier League is next to nothing, really. So that is a good question. I just don't know who we'd replace him with. Should we sell him?
Would you want to upgrade on Leno? Yeah.
If money wasn't an option, of course, I'd love an upgrade. But I think we've got more pressing issues elsewhere, personally. I do think Leno is an issue, but I think we've got bigger problems in our squad. Midfield, to name a few, our ability to create and dominate a midfield is a massive weakness in our game, and I think that's something we need to fix. And potentially, if you have a more dominant midfield, you're going to face less shots because we'll have more possession and we'll control the game more, and that might stop some of the mistakes that we're seeing in Leno. He probably will make more, but if he's facing less shots, then there's less opportunities for him to make mistakes. If we had Martinez, then I'd probably be, if we kept Martinez, we didn't sell him to Villa, I'd be like, yeah, so Leno, we've got Martinez coming through. I don't know enough about Matty Ryan to suggest he's going to be our number one. Personally, from what Josh has said about him, I agree he's probably a bit too short to be a number one, from personal preference. So for me, I wouldn't sell Leno because I just don't see who we can get in, and I'd rather improve our midfield and make our team or our squad as a whole a bit better, and maybe just protect Leno and hope that he can sort of eradicate this form that he's got this season, because it is worrying.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I mean, I don't know who else is out there to replace him. And one thing for sure we can guarantee is don't trust our goalkeeping coach, his judgment, because he brought in Runnison, and I think Runnison's been put out to pasture because I haven't heard or even seen Runnison anywhere. I think he's been on the bench a few times in the Europa League. No, he's not, is he? Because he's got taken out of the Europa League squad. So yes, I haven't seen him at all. So I don't know. I know we tried to get rid of him in the January transfer window, but I think we had no takers for him. But can you see? Obviously, he's not going to be our number one unless he drastically becomes Manuel Neuer over the next 6 months, which is very highly unlikely. So I agree with you with what you're saying. Danny, what has been Leno's, how many goals has he conceded so far this year to compare to sort of the last few years he's been at Arsenal?
Well, this season he's played 31 games. It's league only because that's the only one you can really judge because you've got the same quality of competition. 31 games, let in 35 goals. So that's 4 over. Last season, 30 games, 39 let in, so that's 9 more. And the season before that, 32 games, 42 goals, so he let in 10 more than he played. So 10, 9 and 4. So this season seems to be his best season. Oh, that's shocking, isn't it?
Weirdly. I don't know. Same question to you, Danny. Would you like an upgrade on Leno in the summer?
Yeah, if we were going through everything about Arsenal, and then all the problems, a goalkeeper wouldn't make my top 10 problems. There's many, many other things that we need ahead of fixing the goalkeeper. Keep Matt Ryan because he's a decent goalkeeper. I like him. He's a good second-string goalkeeper. I mean, people might say, well, he might not want to come and play for Arsenal as backup. Well, you either that backup been at Brighton since that new Areola bloke came in. And you were saying about Runnison. He played his one league game this season where he played 15 minutes against Wolves. The next game he was on the bench, and then from then onwards, which was the 6th of February onwards, he's not in the squad, the league squad. And I think he's had FA Cup, no games because there's no more games, is there? Because he's out, like you said, out of the Europa League squad, and so his entire Arsenal career looks like it's going to be 4 Europa League games, 1 Premier League game, which he kept a clean sheet, well done, 15 minutes, and 1 League Cup game where we let in 4 goals against Man City. So he is definitely not the future, but it was a short-term thing because they didn't plan on getting Runnison in. They got an offer for a bloke that was worth a couple of million recently for 20 million for Villa, and so he let him go. And they went, "What? We need a cheap goalkeeper." And Pavon I think is the Arsenal goalkeeping coach, or one of the other goalkeeping coaches, knew him from his time with the national team or one of his previous teams. It's one or the other. I was reading about it, and they said he's available and he's cheap. It's £1 million, and I think maybe there's another $1 million involved in fees and things. So a couple of £1 million to have a backup goalkeeper, you'd lose more than that a week in bloody dodgy haircuts for some of our top stars. So not worried about it at all. But Leno, no, keep him. He's a good player. You just need to. I was saying on another show that some goalkeepers are better than others. He is really good at shot stopping. He'll jump up like a salmon and punch them away, but he's not good at always catching them. And so what you need to say to the people around him, when something comes in, watch for Leno. If he punches it away, clear it. Remember whenever we'd have any trouble in the box from Ben Wenger days, he'd go, right, walk it out of the box, pass it out of the box. We used to get so angry about it. No, hoof it. Kick that ball as hard as you can away from the goal. And then other things like playing out from the back. I was listening to a show and they went, why on earth would you think if 10 years ago you'd have gone, the new thing for goalkeepers is you're going to get the ball, you're going to, for a goal kick, you're going to pass it 6 foot to your right, and then that person's going to try and walk out of defence. You think, what the hell are you talking about? No, you don't. The goalkeeper gets the ball and he hoofs it down the field, hopefully to one of our other players in midfield, or if you're Wimbledon, one of your strikers, or if you're Spurs, the opposition goalkeeper. And that's what you do. You don't pass it out from the back. We're not bloody Barcelona in their peak Messi days. Don't do it. So these things you need to do and go, well, you need to help the goalkeeper out. But like David Seaman always used to say, I could have a great game, make no end of saves, blah, 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 make one error, and that's what people remember me from that game. Arteta, you're making the goalkeepers' lives harder. You and Emery broke Petr Cech. You made him retire because he couldn't cope with suddenly going, oh yeah, you're 50 years old, now I want you to play out from the back. Because it doesn't work.
Yes, Danny, I concur with you. I mean, I definitely agree with this as well, which is something I never thought I'd hear myself say. I think there's so many other positions in the football pitch that we need to improve. And Leno's not exactly terrible. He just, I think with a better defence in front of him, he may play better, and a better midfield as well, which is something that we definitely need to improve on. So that's the Aston Villa game out of the way. Let's look to the future of our next game, which is Villarreal. And the man, the myth, the legend, Emile comes back. Ellis, you said all our eggs are in one basket at the moment. My that is obviously to try and win the Europa League, and I hope that we do. Do you see us getting a result against Villarreal tomorrow, or whenever you listen to this video on Thursday, or do you think that Mr. Emre will come back to haunt us?
I think we'll probably win the Europa League and then we'll get kicked out for playing our part in the Super League. Imagine that.
Well, that would be typical.
It would, wouldn't it? On a serious note, though, it's difficult. My heart is freaking out because I think the guy that used to manage us is probably going to do his, other than when he was at Arsenal, typical European masterclass. And we'll get knocked out by him after thinking, or basically chucking him out because he was a bit shit. But then my head's sort of like, well, actually, yes, he is a bit shit. He's very pragmatic, very, I don't know what the word to describe him is, cautious, probably, a cautious coach, especially with his time at us. I wouldn't say that Arteta's exactly been adventurous since he's been with us, but at least he showed a bit more adventure in some games when he's managed us than Emery seemed to, especially towards the end of his tenure. So I think we can definitely beat them. Are we? Is it the way, the first leg?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So obviously that's very important. We want to get an away goal, and then we've got to try and probably shut up shop on the home leg. Whether we will is another thing entirely. I think he's obviously.
So go on.
No, go on. Say what you can say.
No, I was going to say, well, looking at Villarreal, they're 7th in the La Liga, which is almost as bad as the Farmers League. Their top goal scorer is Gerard Moreno, who 26 goals. And then, who's the second one? I'm just trying to, without asking Danny, I'm trying to get myself.
What are you on about?
Second goal scorer for Villarreal. No.
Anyway, no. So I know their top goal scorer is Joe Moreno with 26 goals and 7 assists. So they're 7th in their league, and they're not playing too badly. I mean, their form, which I did get up.
Have they not got Barcelona either after us or before us?
They played them on the weekend, lost 3-0. No, 2-1.
Did you see their team? Did they rotate heavily for that, or not really?
I don't know. All I know is they've only got a couple of decent wingers. That's it. The rest of
they've lost their last 2 games. I mean, their last 5 games, they've won 2, lost 3 in their last 5 games. So they're not exactly on the best of form. I mean, I'm just comparing that to Arsenal because we're not on the best of form.
You look at his Europa League form with that team. They've played 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Played 12 games. They've won 11 and drawn 1. That makes you worried, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, kind of. But then also, what's the quality of the play or the teams that they're playing in the Europa League? Because let's be honest, it's a second-rate competition.
Carrier Bag from Azerbaijan, Maccabi Tel Aviv from Israel, and then Red Bull Salzburg. No, they've sold their best players. Dynamo Kiev, well, Andrei Shevchenko retired years ago, and then Dinamo Zagreb in the other. Carl, are you doing that on a wooden table?
Oh, Danny, do not stop. Yes, I am doing a wooden table.
Anyway, moving on.
We'll buy you a mouse mat, Carl.
Thank you, Danny.
You can't do it on the same table as your mic is on, but carry on.
So yeah, anyway, you can say he's got a great record in the Europa League, but he's got a great record against second-rate clubs. Everyone other than RB Salzburg, again, like you've mentioned, they've sold a lot of their best players. They were quite a good team and a good unit last season, but that's certainly not the case this season. So you'd expect him, and you'd expect Villarreal to win against those opponents. Even as bad as we are this season, we're far out of the league of those players or those teams that they've played before. We've definitely got better players than a lot of the players they would have faced. So we've got the tools at the disposal to easily get past Villarreal. Whether we will is another thing entirely. Obviously, the things that work in Emery's benefit is he's ex-Arsenal manager. A lot of the players in this team, he knows how we play. He's going to have an understanding of that. He's going to have a good game plan for that. Arteta, on the other hand, I doubt he's really seen much of Villarreal. He may have seen a bit of Unai Emery's Arsenal, but that's probably quite a different kettle of fish to Villarreal. I think it'll be difficult. I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park like the Benfica second leg was. I think Emery will probably set out quite cautious. Obviously, being at home for the first leg, he's going to want to try and not concede, let us get an away goal. So I think he will be quite cautious and probably try and sit like a lot of teams tried to do to us, like Benfica initially tried to do to us, sit back and try and nick one, not be too venturous. I think we'll see more of the same. It's probably going to be a bit of a bore fest, but if we can be patient and not try and exert ourselves too much and probably get a goal, maybe even 2, and I think that puts us in a really good position for the home leg. But that's easier said than done, isn't it, really? What do you think, Danny?
I'm just looking at his career managerial statistics. I nearly messed that up. At Arsenal, 78 games, won 43, 55% win ratio. At Villarreal, 50 games, 27 wins, 54% win ratio. And in his 12 Europa League games, I think they've scored 28 goals. But I think you got a point there, that Carl. Where I think it was you said it, Carl. The teams they've come up against, Villarreal, there's nothing really great there. There's Austrian teams. So they've only one decent team in Austria, and that's Salzburg, and they beat those 4-1 on aggregate. And then Dynamo Kiev, well, they're nothing major. And that's the days of Russian teams spending money seems to be gone. Dynamo Zagreb, well, they usually have a couple of decent players. Croatian team, they're a half decent side. They beat Spurs in the previous round, didn't they? So yeah, well done to those. We shouldn't be worried about this, but I am worried. Like someone has just put in the chat, who was it? It was Dejan. He put, we will get 1-1 away, but then it'll be 1-0 or 2-0 at home. Home form is terrible. I think that sums it up perfectly. That's how I feel. We will fuck it up somehow. We will find a way of playing really well away from home, and then we'll sit back in the home leg, and we go, we got this. We got a one goal lead. We got Xhaka or Luiz or Leno or someone else is going to mess it up, Carl. And then it's going to happen, don't you?
The thing is, the trust in the players at the moment is not very good. I can't think of a player who, apart from maybe Saka and Emile Smith-Rowe, there's no player that you think to yourself is going to change the game or take the game by the scruff and they can actually do something for us. The only saving grace is, I believe, that Kieran, Tierney, Aubameyang and Lacazette were all in training.
Yeah.
So that's obviously a good thing. I mean, whether either or any of those will start remains to be seen, and I guess time will tell by tomorrow. But I'll be very cautious.
Would you risk it?
The thing is, I was just about to ask you the same question. I'll be very cautious to. I mean, Lacazette had a hamstring injury, so hamstring injuries tend to be 2 weeks minimum. So what you don't want to do is Lacazette sprint, okay, but you don't want him to go for a ball and then obviously.
You've been horrible about Lacazette there.
That man,
that's just very truthful.
Yeah, he doesn't run fast, let's be honest. But what you don't want him to is to attempt to sprint and then do his hamstring again. Aubameyang was more an illness, like a virus. So you're hoping that he's back to full strength, because obviously when you're sort of, Ellis can probably elaborate this on more, but when you've got a virus, like you just feel weak and like your organs shut down, and you just feel horrible, and it takes a long time to go and exert yourself. So for him to then go on a football pitch and run for 50, 60, 70 minutes is going to be quite a lot on his body. And what you don't want to do is put him out there from the start where he's not feeling up to it. If he can last, I don't know, if he can do 20, 30 minutes, then I'd rather him come off the bench rather than him start. And Kieran Tierney, was it an ankle injury, I want to say? I can't remember if it was an ankle injury or not. I'm sure it was. But with the way Kieran Tierney plays, do you trust 90 minutes on him on the football pitch running up and down? Knee, okay. Even then, that's an impact injury. So obviously when you run, you're putting high impact on your knee. So do you trust Kieran Tierney from the start to be out there running up
Luiz
and down?
Is back as well.
Is he?
He was training on Monday.
Oh, that's good. I mean, I personally, the only one I'd maybe risk is Aubameyang. I'd play him up front and then take him off after a certain amount of time, because I just don't think that, because he's been so ill, whether his body is able to give 100%. I would not start Lacazette. I wouldn't start Tierney, and I wouldn't start David Luiz either. What about you, Ellis? Would you risk any of those from the start?
I think I'd go along the same lines as you, Carl. I think I'd err on the side of caution. Like you said, Aubameyang getting over malaria. I think Josh may have said it in one of our WhatsApp chats, or may have said it on the live shows. Like Kolo Toure contracted it for us when he played for us, and he just didn't seem like the same player when he come back from that. And it's going to take a toll on your body.
What does malaria do to you? Because I don't know anything about it.
I don't know off the top of my head, to be fair. Not something you come across in
cases in Norwich.
It's not good though. But yeah, so it's going to be difficult. Again, do you start Lacazette, risk him, he runs or jogs after someone and then aggravates that hamstring injury? Tierney, out of everyone, I think I'd be the more careful with. In his short time at Arsenal, he's had so many injuries. He joined us with an injury, for God's sake. Like, it's difficult, and you got to protect him. I think he's easily our best left back in the team, and he just can't seem to remain fit for a long period of time. So you just got to be really careful with him. I think I'd probably stick with Xhaka at left back, which again is an issue, but I can't really think of anyone else playing there. Possibly Cedric. Maybe again, like Unai Emery knows Granit Xhaka quite well, and if he starts at left back, he knows his weaknesses, and that might be something that they tried to target in the first leg. So maybe it'd be better to start Cedric. I don't think he knows a great deal about Cedric. Did Cedric sign when he was there? I think he was a Arteta signing, wasn't he? Or
loan
signed
in
by
December,
Arteta?
January.
Yeah. So potentially you could play him there. I know he's got his issues at left back, but he's for me he can be better there, and that gives Xhaka again. Everyone's got an issue with Granit Xhaka and the way he plays. I don't think that's really his fault. That's just his weaknesses that he has. But I would say that when he is in the midfield, we create more and we look better. Not always, but we look better when we don't have him. So potentially Cedric there. Then that means, I don't know. There's just so much decisions. And that's why I'm not a manager, because I'd probably make the wrong decision. I'm probably worse than Arteta. What about you, Danny?
It's I was reading people's questions. I know you said you don't care, but what is it you don't care about?
I said I don't know. It's not that I don't care. It's just I'd probably make the wrong decisions and be worse than Mikel Arteta.
So would you play any of the people coming back from the start?
Going by the fact that we're shit at home and we have a habit this season of bringing players back too soon, whether it be did it with Tierney, we've done it with Partey, we've done it with maybe one other player. We're going to need him for the home leg because that's going to be the difficult game for us. If we can go, as long as Eddie isn't playing, it's someone put in our chat. David put, if he plays him, yes, we have better players. If he plays William and Nketiah, we're fucked. I think that sums it up perfectly, David. That's brilliant. Yeah, I don't think I don't know anything about malaria, but I know from what you were saying, it's really bad and it messes you up. It's not something you get over in a few weeks, is it? Even if it's a stamina thing where you can't run around for that long, why would you risk it when we got Lacazette, we've got Martinelli, we've got other players that can play in those positions that can do the job away from home? I'm serious. We're gonna the home leg is going to be the hardest leg for us, partly because it's the second game and it could end up being, if it's a 0-0 at their place, and then the second game comes out and then it's open to both teams, and then all we need to do is let in one goal and then we've got to score two, and then we're going to need our best players on form. So don't play any of them. Just leave them. But just go out there with the first game tomorrow and try and score some fucking goals, Arteta. Stop doing what you do, what Emery do, and be scared of losing. Because we've only got 5 league games to go after this. 5 league games, 2 Europa League games. That's it. Shit or bust. Go all out for this. Play everyone up front. Don't get like we did against Leeds and we did against Wolves. 2 attacking sides. Go out there, play everything, and score some fucking goals. If we don't, in a week's time, we'll be looking at this going, they'll be shitting their pants because 1 goal and then we'll need 2. And I don't trust them. Oh, here you go. Stefan says they can't handle it. It's true, they can't.
You're hoping that, and even if we, God forbid that we actually lose, we don't lose badly. If we keep it to 1 goal, and that's how bad is that I'm saying that about an Arsenal squad, the team. I think playing an Emery side, like Ellie said, he knows us so well. He knows he knows the team. The team hasn't changed that much from when he was here. So all the stuff that he probably wanted to do with Arsenal, he's probably going to do against us because he knows that we can't defend properly. He knows that we have problems scoring goals. We know that we have problems even creating goals. So unless it's an absolute masterclass from from Arteta,
it's not going to be.
No, but you're hoping it's some sort of masterclass because if either the 2 strikers don't start, you are talking about Eddie Nketiah starting. And if that doesn't fill you with dread, I don't know what does, unfortunately.
Does anybody think he was going to score against Everton? I mean, how many chances does that kid have? Everyone knows that I love Eddie Nketiah. He's brilliant. I've talked about him all the way from the Scores on the Doors days when he was a 16-year-old playing for the under-18s. And I used to say this bloke is going to be something special. And he's gone all the way. He's done it against the England under-21s. But it seems that he can only dominate when it's against people of his own age. And when it comes to the big time, what's he got? He's played 41 games, I think, for Arsenal in the Premier League. And he scored 5 goals. Or or some number like that. Let me check it. It is Nketiah. He's played 13 goals in 64 games, but that's all competitions. In the Premier League, which is the one you're judging by, 5 in 38. That's not good enough, is it? I mean, this season, 2 in 17.
But you have to understand, I think rhythm is a big thing as well. And this is not me defending our Nketiah, but when you come in for a game, you sit out for 5, and you come in for 1 game, and then sit out for 4. It's hard to try and find your rhythm. So I understand what you're saying. And some of those games, if you're saying it's all competitions, those are not all starts. Some of them are him coming in for the last 10 minutes of a game, coming in for the last 5 minutes of a game to try and change it when Arteta has run out of ideas, so he just needs to try and do everything. So I don't think the numbers in what you said is not probably a true reflection of it, because when you say those numbers, it makes you think that he started all those games when
minutes.
Yeah, in truth, he hasn't. So, and again, we've had the difference between 1 minute we're playing Lacazette up front, then we're playing Aubameyang up front, then we're playing both of them up front, then we're playing that. It's really hard. And he went, I don't know how many games he was not even in the squad. He must have been, I think it was something like 14 games. I'm sure I've seen that somewhere without even being in the squad. And then he comes in for the game where Lacazette got injured. Then he starts against Everton. So it's hard, I guess, to almost criticize him because he's not
nearly 5 games, Carl. Those 17 league games add up to nearly 5 league games in the whole minute. 413 minutes.
So there you go.
Yeah, it's not as bad, is it?
No, it's not. But to be honest, he was kept out by Lacazette, who did have a good run of form. So therefore, I don't think he should have been dropped. And we had a brief spell where Aubameyang was playing well as well. So, we'll see. Obviously, Arteta's made his decision by today that who's going to start and who's not. I just hope that we don't rush people back and we cause more injuries to our players. But one question on our shoot, Ellis. Let's say we lose 3-0 at Villarreal and we get knocked out of the Europa League. We don't score enough goals at home. Is that Arteta's time up, or do you still give Arteta until next season?
Do you think my personal opinion, or what do you think?
Yeah.
I think.
Okay, both. Give me your personal opinion on what you think is going to happen.
Well, I'll start with what I think will happen. I don't think he'll be sacked or fired. I think if that was the case, he would have gone during that poor run of form in December. I don't think whether we win Europa League or not we've seen what KSE want from Arsenal. They don't want too much. They're not too fussed about what success we have. We're just there for them as part of their franchise, as part of one of the franchises they own, one of the many franchises that they own. None of their franchises are particularly really good clubs that do really well or really successful, but they are a way of them to generate revenue. And obviously, like you could say, if we were more successful, we generate more revenue. But in order for us to be more successful, they probably need to invest a bit more of their money, especially now with everything that's going on. They're going to have to really realistically. But I think they're quite happy just for Arsenal to be a mid-table Premier League team, because the Premier League money will start bringing money. Obviously, they wanted to sign up to the ESL, but obviously that was why, because for more money. If they can get more money with minimal effort, then they'll go for it. So I don't think, even if we get knocked out and we finish wherever we are in the league now, 9th, 10th, finish out of Europa League spots, and then we'll go into whatever that third European competition is, they won't care. I think he'll stay there. I think the only thing that will really get him out is if there's like massive fan protests and more further outrage than what there already is. What I'd do personally, again, I sort of have slagged out and made it seem like he should go if he goes there. I think I would certainly consider it. It's difficult for Mikel Arteta. I don't really blame him. He's a new young coach with no experience at other clubs other than as not a head coach, as a coach at Man City. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to have to take time to grow. Unfortunately, Well, that was weird. Unfortunately,
I'm trying to get rid of the gaps.
the club or the higher up at the club decided they are happy for him to grow at Arsenal. Whether that will be too little, too late, and we'd have sunk even further why he develops as a coach, who knows? Only time will tell. But I'd give him, even if we went out, I'd give him until probably January next year at the earliest, turn around, give him another transfer window, give him a bit more money, get some more players in that he wants to play his way. And if he still hasn't turned it around and we're still sat in this position come January, I'd get rid, personally.
Okay, I understand. Danny, I won't give you the same question, but do you think that if we don't win the Europa this season, do you think Arteta's stock is damaged?
Well, saying about that, I still can't figure out how we managed to finish last season on such a high, beating teams and winning the FA Cup, and how it's gone from that to he's gone, well, that's a formula that works. Now I'm going to try something else. Because you look at those two teams playing with such gay abandon and happiness and flair and creativity and no worries in the world, and now it's like don't touch the ball. We might. Oh no! Don't. Oh, play it back. Oh, play it sideways. So I would hope that maybe winning it will let him see. Well, actually, no. If he wins it by playing shit football, then that's going to be bad for us next season. We want him to go, actually, I'm going all out for this for the rest of the season. We win all of our league games. We win the 3 Europa League games. We win the final, and we finish 5th in the league. And then he goes, oh, all fucking season I've been playing that defensive, scared to attack bullshit, and I should have done this the whole time. And then he'll stay, and the next season will be an absolute joy to watch. Whether that's going to happen or not, probably not. He's going to go out there. He's going to go, oh, I'm scared. Oh, no, don't do anything too creative. Oh, no. Oh, I'm going to pick the same players doing the wrong things. Probably have Xhaka at left back. He's probably going to play Ceballos as a central midfielder who's got no idea what he's doing most of the time. He's already said that he wants to go back to Spain. Odegaard, I think he's going to be back, but he's been here long enough to go, oh, fuck that. I'm going back to Spain, son. I want fuck all to do with this club. I'm having none of it. I'm going. And there's just so many. We all thought that the last summer and the January transfer window that's just gone was going to be Arteta getting rid of all the players and things are going to turn around. When, quite frankly, it's not turned around at all. And I don't think the owners care enough to get rid of him.
Yeah, I think.
You?
No, I'll be honest with you. I don't see. Well, you don't see Kroenkes there anyway, but I just don't see them. They want to give him time, and I'm all about giving him time. I'm not going to talk about the process because I think it's a load of bullshit. I really do. However, I think with the protests that have happened lately, I think they've got to be seen to do something. So I do think that they will give Arteta money to spend. I honestly do. The one thing I must say is that in the last few seasons, the Kroenkes have given Arsenal money to spend. It's not that they haven't given them money. You think we bought a £50 million midfielder. We bought a £50 million striker a few years ago. We bought a £25 million left back. There are other players that I can't, at the top of my head, I just can't think of. But it's not like we haven't invested money into this team. It's just that the money that we've invested, has it been good enough? I mean, I can't think of, you think to yourself, Partey hasn't pulled up trees this season. And a lot of people make excuses for him and say, oh, he's been injured, he's come up from injury, blah, blah, blah. But he's not been injured in the last few games. And these last few games, he's been shocking for me. Like, his shooting is, I don't think he's had a shot on target. Every time he shoots, it goes high, wide, and handsome. So is that to do with the partner he has in midfield? I mean, he's got Granit Xhaka is his main partner, and then you've got him and Ceballos, and then you've got him and Elneny.
But he plays much better when it's Xhaka. We've seen that because we've seen that Partey makes Elneny look good. I mean, I like Elneny, the Egyptian Perlo, as our Richard would say, but it's picking the best of a bad bunch, and the bad bunch, Xhaka is the best one that plays next to him. they work together really well. And then you have someone creative in front of them, don't you?
Yeah. So within the summer transfer window, we have to address if Partey is the future of our midfield. We have to partner him with somebody who's going to make him be able to bring out all his attributes. Who that person is, I don't know.
Maybe ask Partey. Who do you want? Who's that other bloke? The other bloke, Atletico midfielder that we've always been linked with. Oh, where's Chris when you blood? He's in the top corner. Chris, no, I should just go and have a look at it, shouldn't I? And find out the.
Koke?
No, it wasn't him. I'll go and find it. Oh, Thomas Lamar.
Oh fuck no!
No,
God.
I don't even know what position he plays.
Do you remember the summer of Lamar? God, that was quite funny. But
yeah, let's not go there.
Kondogbia is only 28. We were linked. That's who I was thinking of.
Oh God, no! The guy from Brighton, is it Basuma?
Oh yeah, he looks tasty.
Everybody's talking about him. I think when Josh comes on here, they're better to talk more about him. Have you noticed that Josh is not even here? We've mentioned his name about 6 times. But
he's done his favourite.
He definitely has done his favourite. But yeah, I think what we need is we just need someone in midfield to complement him. And as I was just, we must talk about it now. How to get, if the Kroenkes are going to leave, it will be done by fan protest, by fan pressure. I mean, we saw the protest before the Everton game and it was absolutely massive. I think a lot of Arsenal fans turned up and made their voice known that they were very unhappy with sort of the antics that Arsenal did with the European Super League. Ellis, there's been a lot of talk about somebody trying to buy Arsenal. I mean, I think obviously if the Kroenkes did want to sell, they're not going to come out and say they want to sell, but they've made several statements saying that they're not interested in selling Arsenal whatsoever. That may be to drive up the price, who knows. But so there's a guy from Spotify who is interested in buying Arsenal. He's making and saying all the right noises. The issue is that for him to stump up I don't think the Kroenkes will sell for less than 4 billion. So in order for him to stump up the 4 billion, he's going to have to take out a loan. Now, if he does take out this 4 billion pound loan, that debt is going to go into Arsenal, just like what the Glazers did for Manchester United. So I guess the question is, do you want to see new owners that are not the Kroenkes, or would you take this Spotify guy as the new owner, but he's going to put debt onto Arsenal? Now, if he does, is he going to have the capital to invest money into Arsenal? It's a catch-22 situation, really and truly. But what do you think about it?
Personally, I'd like anyone other than the Kroenkes to own us. So I'd take the risk with Spotify, as you can see, the sponsors of this show right now currently. Yeah, I didn't really know much about him. I think I put a question in our WhatsApp chat, and John actually replied to me saying apparently he's a big fan. He's got Bergkamp, he's got Henry involved, he's got Villarreal involved. Allegedly, he's worth somewhere between 3 to 4 billion. Apparently, the club value is 2 billion, but it didn't. Is that right? And how much did Kroenke buy the shares for? There was that 1.8 or was that 2.8? I don't know. I'm not really good at.
Well,
knowledge about how they bought.
Phil I am on Twitter, who is a finance person, Ellis, he said the highest price of a single Arsenal share was £37,000, of which there was 62,217 shares valued the club at 2.3 billion. But Kroenke and Usmanov agreed a deal at 29,000 a share, which valued the club at 1.83 billion pounds. So Stan Kroenke, it's gone up 320 million since he became 100% owner.
So I agree with Carl. Like what he says, they're probably going to want a lot more than what they paid to get him out. Again, they've come out, or Josh, I think, has come out and said that they have no intention to sell the club. Again, how much truth is in that? Everyone has a price, essentially, don't they? If a big enough offer came in, I'm sure they would, because they could just go off and buy another franchise to invest in or to receive money from. I don't know, Carl. Again, like I've just admitted, I'm not really good with the old finance stuff. I'm just a standard, boring fan who just wants us to play football and do it well and win stuff. But whether that happened, whether he'd just bring a lot of debt and, like you say, have enough capital to invest in us, I'd like to think the fact that he's managed to get Thierry Henry, Dennis Bergkamp, Vieira on board, he's got some good intentions there, because why else would they be on board other than the obvious of money? But you'd like to think that there are
never a finer reason.
You'd like to think there are some good intentions there. I've got a Spotify premium account, and I definitely wouldn't cancel it if he owned our club. If you're listening.
Well, Mike from the Gooners podcast, Carl, was saying that they are thinking of when Biden got in, he said he's going to change the tax law. So at the moment, if he sold the club today, he would pay it for, I think, $2.8 billion. He would pay $600 million in tax. If the new proposed tax laws come in, then he's going to be paying $1.2 billion in tax. So, Mike, the point Mike was saying, well, first of all, you're going to have to offer a shitload of money if he's going to get him to sell it. And secondly, if he is going to sell it, he's going to sell it. If you give him the right money, he'll want to do it now before the tax law changes to save himself $600 million. So it's like on my driveway, I've got the car, and people often go by and go, "Oh, is that car for sale?" And I say, "No." And I say, "Well, how much do you want for it?" I say, "You give me 25 grand, you can have it." And they always walk off. I had a couple of friends do that recently. I've said 25 grand, that's how much it is on eBay. And see, I don't really want to sell it. So by saying 25 grand, I know they're going to piss off. Whereas you can go, it's only worth 15 grand. So he isn't going to go 2.8 billion. Thank you very much. That's exactly how much it's worth. I'll take that. He's going to go, nah, 4. And according to reports, he's worth 2.3 billion, old Eck.
I can't see it happening personally. Obviously, the release of the story is perfectly timed with all the unrest that the fans have got over the European Super League and just the Kroenkes in general with the protests that have happened. And I just think it's just someone trying to get the story out there, get some likes, get some attention, and he's if there is truth to it, it's probably him just trying to give it a go, see what he can do. But in my heart and my head, I just can't see it happening personally. What about you, Carl? Are you on board of a takeover from the Spotify geezer, or is it just a case of more of the same?
I mean, like you, Ellis, I can't see this happening. I genuinely don't. But just because I just don't think the Kroenkes are going to sell. And I don't think this is weird me saying this, that someone who's worth 2-point-something billion, I don't think he's got enough money. I genuinely don't. And like I said, he's going to have to take out a loan. Now, when he takes out that loan, who is that loan going to be attributed to? He's going to put all of that on Arsenal. So then we're going to be a club in further debt than we actually are with the stadium. And
that's what Kroenke did, though. He didn't pay the money. He used loans to pay for it all, but he leveraged it against all the other stuff. I'm sure I heard people say that. But no one pays it all out. But someone makes a really good point there. Mike Hertz from the Not Another Arsenal podcast. He says there, I'm worried all this takeover will affect the transfer window. That's a good point, Carl, because if you're a club owner, you're thinking of selling, you're not going to go and spend £200 million in the summer, are you, if you think you've got a chance of selling it?
Well, that's what we'll tell. If Kroenke gives Arteta money to spend in the summer, then he's not looking to sell. If he doesn't, then you know he's looking to sell. The issue is we don't want this dragging on and on and on for the whole summer and the whole transfer window, because we don't know what's happening. I mean, you got is the World Cup this year?
Yeah, Christmas.
Yeah. So what you're looking at is we've got the Euros in the summer, and then the league will start straight away, and then you've got that silly gap of the World Cup. So we play up until November.
It's Christmas 2022.
It's Christmas. Oh, so it's next year. All right. So
Euros this year, isn't it?
So what you don't want is, for me, we need to go early. Arsenal are not typically fast starters in buying players. So we need to try and get the dead wood out. Now, it looks like Kolasinac probably will be returning to Arsenal because of what's gone on in Germany with him. We still got players that we need to get rid of. So, I don't know. I just don't want this guy to just put a whole load of debt onto Arsenal. That's my only issue. And what I want him to do is to have the money to invest. Now, if you have to take out a loan just to try and buy the club, then what money have you got left to invest in us? I mean, yeah, we know that you're going to... I mean, the only thing that would come out of it, him buying it, is we'll have better music at the Emirates rather than just Sweet Caroline every time we flip in one. But, and sponsorships, obviously, we're going to... this guy must have people within the music business that he knows that could give us more sponsors. Well, you're hoping at least anyway, but it's a hard one. I just want an owner who cares about the club enough to invest money into the club. And I'm not talking about just pouring millions and millions into the club. Someone who actually does care to make the club better, to improve everything about the club, not just the players, the coaching staff. If the manager's not playing well, then let the manager go. To hold the chief, everyone accountable. So if they're not doing their job, if the scout department's not doing their job, they've got to go, or to improve everything. I don't know if I'm torn just between wanting Kroenkes out or wanting this new guy in, where it looks and sounds so sexy, and the fact that, like you said, all the ex-legends are on board with trying to make this takeover happen, because they're going to be, well, they're going to want jobs, aren't they? And they're going to be on the board, or at least try to get themselves on the board at Arsenal. So
he did an interview today, didn't he, on some finance program, and so how much Americans know about soccer. They had a picture of Lacazette in a Puma shirt, and then they had, the kit launch that was in Australia, where you had Giroud and Czech and all that. That was the other photo they used. And the other fucking photo, you stupid fucks, was Henrik Mkhitaryan.
Jesus.
What the fuck are you doing? And also, Mr. Eck, I hope he buys the club. I'd like anyone to buy the club. But Mr. Eck, one of the things that he said, I love the players, I love the history, I love the fans. I thought, hold on a second, Treacle. Love the fucking fans? Nah. You don't know Arsenal.
The thing is, you'd ask him, the thing is, he's saying all that, but you'd ask the question, so you love all that, you're a billionaire. How many actually Arsenal games have you been to in the last 5 years? I will guarantee you it's less than 5. I'm just putting it out there. But yeah, it's just interesting. I mean, like I said, we were talking before this podcast started, this could just be an amazing advertising ploy, because the amount of times that Spotify has been said in all walks of media by all fans, I wonder how many premium accounts he's now gained, because people are really silly. They'll think, do you know what? I'm going to sign up to Spotify because that's going to give him more money so he can buy Arsenal. People are like that, and they're going to do it. So it would be very interesting to see how sharply premium accounts have risen on Spotify, as this show is now sponsored by Spotify, as Danny has shown. So, it's interesting. It's interesting, but only time will tell. But I think what I don't want, like Ellis alluded to, is a long, drawn-out process. If he's going to buy the club and let it go. If he's not going to buy the club, then let's just, under the carpet. I mean, from where we're sitting, the Kroenkes have come out and said it's not for sale. So, therefore, it's kind of, that's it, isn't it, really?
Michael there, who is a fellow Swede, has put, aren't Spotify down 7% today? See? Immediately you're associated with Arsenal, your company, to everything turns to shit. You're down 7%.
If he doesn't go through with it, I'm deleting my premium account. I'll go to whatever fucking music streaming sites there are. That's my warning to you, Mr. Eck. Hurry up.
Yeah, so
Stefan's put, how many has he lost? All Spurs and Chelsea fans have deleted their private Spotify accounts. There you go. Most of those don't have electricity, so fuck them.
Exactly.
They probably share an account with someone else. The fucking scumbags.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, what do you think, Danny, would make the Kroenkes sell? Like, yes, 5 billion. Apart from money, what do you think would force the Kroenkes to sell Arsenal Football Club?
Stan Kroenke's head in a box.
Okay.
With a note, Josh, you're next.
Those are the views of
That's
Danny. No one else on the ABW podcast.
Exactly.
I've seen 7. I know how these things work.
Oh God.
Yeah, head in a box or a sell, or you're in trouble. Just there's plenty of organisations in the world, maybe a little bit south of America, that you could get involved for a few million that would sort the problem out. Yeah, or get Noel Edmonds. We could play. You could play 14 to 1 with Noel Edmonds and a different head in every box.
Josh, sorry, not Josh. Fucking hell. See, I'm done. Ellis, I'll ask you the same question and hopefully have a sensible answer.
God knows where Danny was going with that fucking
I know.
deal or no deal.
In other words, it's not going to happen. He's not going to fucking sell.
Yeah, mate. A lot of fucking money is the answer to that, isn't it? I think you hit the nail on the head. He's going to want to probably double his money. So if he's paid around 4 billion, 2 billion, he's probably going to want around 4 billion or more.
Bless him.
And like you say, the Spotify man's only worth 2 billion, the peasant, so he's not going to be able to afford that, is he?
You could buy Barnet for 50 quid. Have them. or Peterborough back up to the Championship. Come on, the Posh.
Who's the other team in the lower leagues that plays at Highbury and plays in red and white?
Fleetwood,
buy them. Turn them into the new Arsenal.
You can have Highbury. We'll all go. I'll go.
You won't go anywhere.
It's not going to happen, though, is it? If you had to put your monthly wages on it, Carl, is it going to happen?
No, I think it's I just can't see it happening. I really don't. One, like I said, it sounds silly. Someone who's worth 2 billion, he hasn't got enough money to buy it, and anyone that gives him a 2 billion loan is going to want assurances they can get their money back. Now, Arsenal are not going to be playing unless they win the Europa League. Arsenal will not be playing European football next season. It's highly unlikely. So, a team that is not going to be playing European football next season, who needs investment like really, really badly, and if he does buy them, he's going to have a whole heap of debt be forced upon them. So he's not going to be able to buy the premium players that we want. There's no assurances there, really, is there? Looking at Arsenal play, what assurances can you honestly see in that team that they are going to be able to compete with not even Europeans' finest, but England's finest, the likes of Man City, who are currently losing, the likes of Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Leicester, currently West Ham. But there's no assurances there. So for me, it's at the moment, Arsenal's a bad investment. No matter how you look at it, Arsenal is a bad investment. But, it is fun to talk about this takeover. It's not going to happen. We know this. So I guess that's that really, isn't it?
We just need a nice Arabian prince with a lot of money who's got no skeletons in his closet. Wouldn't do anything bad, but it's just
he's not coming
filthy
from
rich.
Arabia, then, is he? Or Russia, or China.
I'm
the only
past
places
point
with money.
now. Someone just give us a lot of money and make us really good all the
That's
time.
what we need. Just
Nowadays, if you've got money for a reason. It's usually on the backs of others. Possibly.
Right. Again, this is the views of Danny Sweetman and not the views of ABW as a whole. Right. So before we go on to listen to questions, Danny, and Ellis, I'm going to ask you both a question. So I'm going to name out Arsenal's team. And all I want to hear, don't Chris Carpenter it. It's simply keep or go. Because I personally don't believe that there is more than 5 players in Arsenal's current squad who should stay.
I'll make it easier. Tierney, keep, get rid of the rest.
All right, so Danny go first, and then Ellis is literally don't Chris Carpenter. It's keep or go. Right,
Okay.
Leno,
Keep.
Danny.
Keep.
Ellis?
Keep.
Carl,
Okay. Keep. Randerson?
go. Get fucked.
Go.
Carl,
Okay. Go. Matt Ryan?
keep.
Keep.
Keep. All right. Defenders now. Hector Bellerin?
Sell.
I really like him, but go and get Max Aarons in.
I would tell him I think his time at Arsenal's finished. Kieran Tierney?
I'm not even going to answer that. How dare you, sir?
Oh,
Go.
sorry.
He's injury prone.
I'd keep him. Gabriel?
Keep.
Keep.
Keep. Rob Holding?
No, this is a tough one. Sell.
Keep.
I really like him.
I'd keep him.
But he's not as good as the others we got waiting in the wings. He isn't going to want to wait around. We'll get 25 million for him.
He will wait
No,
around.
he fucking wouldn't.
Good.
Who's going to pay 25 million
West
for Rob
Ham.
Holding?
West Ham always buy everyone else's shit for too much money.
West
They
Ham
bought-
in the Champions League. They need Champions League players.
Even higher than Rob Holding, I'll tell you that for free.
Not if Man City win it, they're not. No, not if Chelsea win it. Who else is in it? Is Chelsea in the Champions League?
Yeah, they're in the semi-final against Real Madrid.
I think if Chelsea win it and then and finish fourth, Chelsea go in it, not West Ham.
They don't have to finish fourth if they win it. They can finish wherever they like if they win it.
That's what I mean. So so you got top three go into it plus Chelsea in fourth because they won it.
No,
Yeah.
they
They don't have to go
five go
fourth,
into
do
it.
they?
No, there was some combination where West Ham can't make it. Get on with it.
Anyway, Calum Chambers.
I'd keep him because of his versatility and nice beard. He reminds me of our very own Ellis, good-looking young man.
Ah,
Edit.
keep. I'm not going to say as much as Danny.
I'd sell him. Pablo Marie.
Keep.
Keep.
Keep. David Luiz. He's definitely going to go at the end of the season, isn't he?
Yeah, retire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go.
All right. I'm not going to say Saka because I'm sure we all keep him. Danny Ceballos is on loan, and I very much doubt we're going to keep Danny Ceballos. Martin Odegaard is also on loan, and it's not up to us. But if you could have the chance to keep Martin Odegaard for, let's say, 45 million, would you keep him?
Yeah.
Not for 45, no.
Oh, haggle them. Get them down to 20.
30.
They-
Yeah, all right.
And they can. We'll swap him for Ceballos.
We'll give 30 and they'll discount us to 10 if we take Ceballos off their hands. There you go.
Now we're chucking the Egyptian Perlo.
Talking of him, would you keep him?
No.
No.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Richard.
he's got to go. Granit Xhaka.
Hold on. Loki is speaking for all of us. Loki's put down.
Those are the views of Loki and not the views of ABW.
Right, so
No.
Granit Xhaka.
I'd keep him only because when he does that job, he's good.
Go.
We can't get rid of everyone.
We can.
We'll end up playing
We'll
five
raise some
side teams.
funds. We'll
Yeah,
sell all
fine,
average players and we'll buy one good player and we should be right. They just have to be like Calum James and play everywhere. Or Saka and play everywhere.
Oh, God. Lacazette.
Keep. I'm speaking for me and Chris.
So,
Yeah, I think I would agree with Ellis
Look
selling.
what you've done. You've made the pirate cry.
Oh, who cares?
See
Aubameyang.
this. Sell if you can get money for him and wages and money. Sell him.
I've got to keep him if I'm selling Lacazette. You can't just leave Balogun and Nketiah as our only strikers, can we?
I think I'd keep him just because we're not going to get decent money for him. And it'll be one of those ones where if we sell him, we're going to have to pay part of his wages anyway because he's not going to go and take a wage cut. And no one is in their right mind is going to pay a 31-year-old 300 million or 200,000 a week like we're doing. So, yeah. Nicolas Pepe.
Who knows? The West he's good like the wind changes direction. Fuck it, try and reclaim some of the money back, sell him. Or sort those fucking sideburns out. He looks like a farmer.
I'm not allowed to sell anymore. Danny said I'm not allowed to sell our whole team, so keep.
I think anything over 40 million I'll take. So
hell yeah.
Anything over 40 mil, I'll definitely sell him.
Yeah, I'll take half that.
Yeah, and the rest of the players are just Reece Nelson.
There you go. Mr. Waffles has made a point. We can't sell Pepe. We still owe too much because we've got to pay a certain amount over the next 5 seasons. Fucking hell. I think it's 20 million.
That's what we negotiate. You can pay the rest of him off and a sell-on clause.
I think we're paying something like £20 million a season for the next 4 seasons. No, next 3.
Oh, I hope he gets good soon.
What was the next one, Carl, before I spoke over you?
Right, Reece Nelson.
Keep. Doesn't owe us anything. He can only get better. He scored against Liverpool.
We don't use him, Danny. That's the point.
He's an idiot. Because we've got Pepe and he has to use him.
I have a question for both of you. Ooh. Joe Willock, do you think he's got a job or a role to play at Arsenal when he comes back?
Yes. It's like all of our young men. They're our own. They've not cost us anything. They can play in the Premier League and they're going to do all right. He may not be good enough to play every game. He's come on as a sub 3 games in a row for for Newcastle. Scored goals against Liverpool, West Ham and Spurs. 3 goals in 3 games as a sub. Just got to use him right.
But do you think, Ellis, that he's found his level at Newcastle, or do you think he's...
That's not much above us, is it?
No, it's not, but do you think that's where he should play, or do you think he's got a role to come back to Arsenal and play?
Sorry, my cat's in my face. I think he could have a role, but
anus!
Oh, he's gone now. Sorry about that.
That's scary. We're talking about his bum.
Probably, yeah. He's giving me a right dirty look now.
Not sure his bum was.
He's doing well at Newcastle, but maybe that's his level. I personally think he could do a job at Arsenal, but I don't think Arteta will want him to do a job. I think his decision was made when he sent him out on loan, and I'll see him probably being bought by Newcastle in the summer or another club of that level.
Same as Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I mean, Danny, we was going to sell him to Wolves in the summer, and we decided to keep him. And even though we decided to keep him, Arteta just did not play him, which obviously made no sense. But
I think the last game he played, the last 2 games, one was at right back, one was at left back, and then he was told to sling his hook. He's got an attitude problem, but historically, players with attitude problems have got an attitude because they know they're good. Another one, keep him. It's not cost us any money. He's English, and he's.
But if you can make money from him, would you not sell him?
To go to Lille and play 5 times the price they want for a player we've never heard of? No, fuck it. Keep them. Keep all the English lads. We've got a quota to meet as well, and they'll be happy to stay because they've been at Arsenal for 10, 12 years each. But we need to have an English core of players that are going to count as homegrown now with the Brexit thing happening. That's changed how we can bring players into this country. And if we're going to get rid of so many players, you've got to keep a core of... Plus, they've grown up together. And we saw how that worked in the George Graham days. All those players grew up together. They all knew each other. Balogun's part of all of that lot. I'd even keep Eddie if it keeps them all happy. Plus, we're a mid-table side now, Carl. I think it all depends on whether we're going to be in the Champions League, Europa League, or the Intertoto Cup League. I now know how that the Europa Conference League works. It's a load of shit. We might end up in that. Imagine that. Fuck me.
The thing is, what's scary is that if we win the Europa Cup, we could end up in the Champions League. Isn't that scary?
Oh, then we can't keep any of our squad if we're going for the Champions League. Otherwise, we'll be beaten 10-1 every week by Bayern Munich.
We'll be battered every week. Could you imagine us?
Fucking hell. We'll have the young men taken off us for cruelty to young men.
Right, Daniel. Let's do listener questions. Daniel,
you've given up. Have we done them all?
Are we?
Have we done? I don't know. Have you asked all the questions? I mean, all the entire squad. Yeah,
that's a whole squad.
Oh Jesus, we ain't got many players, have we?
Can I ask
Ellis,
you a
are you
question?
able- Are you able
Gunnosaurus,
to go
keep or sell?
make him
Well,
manager?
he's already gone, hasn't he? Because we didn't pay we couldn't afford to keep him. Poor sod.
Ellis, can you go have a look into your Twitter DMs? There's 6 questions there for you, my dear. If you can get your face out, get your finger out the cat's arse for 5 seconds. Get a move on.
Here they be.
Arr.
Arr. Right. Shall we start with Carl? This is from Josh. He says,
Damn,
"Are you
Josh.
behind?" #Bayek. Yeah, definitely Danny's Josh. Because he isn't KSC, or are there other real benefits to his potential ownership? I mean, we've sort of covered it, but Carl, would you?
We
care
have.
to
I think
expand?
the only potential benefits to his ownership is something fresh, something new, so something to try and get excited about, and maybe just sponsorship in Arsenal, which is just invest money. Barring that, I just don't know if there's anything else that benefits us. I mean, if Stan Kroenke was to heavily invest Arsenal, people would be happy. They wouldn't care if he didn't come to games as long as he's putting money into Arsenal. They really couldn't give a damn. But the problem is he doesn't invest in Arsenal. He makes silly decisions. And who's to say that this guy wouldn't do exactly the same? I think Josh is right. I think we're just excited about him buying Arsenal because he's not the Kroenkes. But we don't. Does anyone actually know how he manages business? Does anyone actually know what he's like as a natural person, or just because he's come out, said the right buzzwords, and everyone's jumping on board? Who knows? Sometimes it's better the devil you know.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with there. Probably shouldn't agree with Josh too much, but yeah, I don't think there's much more to say about that. Danny, for you, Mike Hers says, how much do you think the players will be affected by the Fulham and Everton game, taking into consideration the VAR and Leno incidents?
I think the Leno incident is just something that's bad luck. I think it's the only one he's done this season. It's not like Manuel Almunia, who's chucking one in the back of his net every other game whilst he was at Morris dancing. Hold on, got to change this when I'm talking about Morris dancing. There you go, Steve. Whilst he was at Morris dancing around the penalty area, being an absolute tool, making Jerry Payton look like a goalkeeping tit that he was. That's for you, Steve. It's nothing you can do about that. But the VAR thing, I have seen our mate Aussie Dom, who I speak to every now and then, I've asked him to come on, but he's back in Adelaide, and so whenever we do the shows, he's busy. He's either in bed or just got up or whichever way around it is. And he tweeted the other day, he said, "I've lost all love for football. You can't celebrate anymore because it could be disallowed for something that happened 15 minutes ago. The club's a mess. The Premier League is a mess. Arteta's tactics are an absolute mess." I mean, I did a little thing I tweeted the other day about a combination of back fours. It looks like a 4-year-old has randomly picked names out of a bloody cat's arse, the way our back fours have been lining up. What else is there? That has got to affect the players. You're going to go and do something, and then it can be ruled out, and then found to be ruled out for no nonsense. Like I think it was Gav during the live show. Not Gav. It was somebody. Oh, it was Dean. That was it. I knew it was someone I knew. Dean, the Everton fan, said the VAR was like an etch-a-sketch VAR at that last game. And as a player, you've got to look at that and go, why the fuck am I bothering? 1 week, someone's massively offside and they get away with it. This week, Pepe wasn't offside because you can't score with your elbow and it was disallowed. 1 week, Kane is 2-footing people but gets away with it. Then Son does it, gets away with it. Our bloke falls over and doesn't get anything from it. It's the whole. I cannot, like I tweeted earlier today, 7, possibly 8 games to go, and we can wash our hands of this fucking season. Fuck it in the face. There you go. Pick the bones out of that. Did I answer the question?
In a roundabout way, I guess. But yeah, going back to the fucking Everton game and our penalty being, I mean, it wasn't a penalty, but being ruled off for an offside. Like, VAR this season has been beyond a joke. Everyone was just so against it. And I was sort of, when it was first announced, I was like, well, if anything, to help the referees make better decisions. But it doesn't. Like when it was sold to us, it was we'll use it to correct the clear and obvious errors. What is clear and obvious about that offside? Like, it's fucking bollocks. They don't use the
Neither
technology.
clear nor obvious.
Yeah, they don't use the technology like properly. That's not what it's there for. You can't analyze an offside from a freeze frame of a picture. Like, the picture quality is going to play. Yeah, but the picture quality is going to play a part. The angle's going to play a part. It's fucking bollocks. If there's clear and obvious, like, a gap there, then yeah, by all means. I can remember the Man United game, I think it was, and Aubameyang scored a goal, and initially the referee went, the linesman went offside, and then they reviewed it on VAR, and that was fucking obvious. I mean, I could see that from home without even fucking rewinding it, but that's the technology be used properly. Not, it's a soft penalty, but we've given the penalty, but actually let's rewind it a bit and just see if Pepe's armpit is offside. Like, it is just shit. And I think the sooner Arsene Wenger's proposed offside law comes in, the better, because then at least VAR can't, I say they can't fuck it up. They'll probably find a way of fucking it up, won't they? It's ridiculous. Anyway, moving on. Julian Salmon says, Carl, do you think getting into the Champions League next season via the Europa League would have any bearing on Kroenke if he was looking to sell?
He'd probably delay the sale, because Arsenal being in the Champions League is automatically like 50 million to Arsenal based on all the TV rights, the games, depending on whether fans are allowed back in the stadium by then. So I would say he probably wouldn't sell if Arsenal did manage to scrape back into the Champions League. But again, who knows? No one knows. All I know is that if we were in the Champions League, we need major investment, because the players that we have now are nowhere near good enough to play in the Champions League.
We need half of that 2.8 billion just to redo the squad.
God.
Can you imagine though? Like, obviously, we all want to get into the Champions League. That is the ultimate aim. But if we accidentally if we actually somehow manage to get through the Europa League and get the fact that a team that wins Europa League gets a place in Champions League is bollocks anyway, because we're potentially going to say we're potentially 10th in our league this season, and we get through because we won the second tier competition, just to get put in a fucking pot, which will probably be in with Bayern Munich and Barcelona, get battered home and away by them, and then drop back down into Europa League to do it all over again. Like, fuck me. It's not going to be fun, whatever happens.
It's like the Tuesday Club. They go on about the who's in the Fiesta. Well, at the moment, it's a bicycle, and it's got Partey and Tierney on it, and that's it. That's with Saliba running up behind it, hitching for a lift. That's it. We've got two players.
That'd be interesting, because would they let let's say Chelsea finish 5th?
Don't try figuring it out, Carl. It doesn't make any sense to anyone. They'll get an alien to do it.
Could that be 6 teams, potentially 6 English teams in the Champions League? They won't allow that, will they?
No.
That's right. Definitely bring away into a European Super League, won't we?
I think the maximum you'll ever get is 5.
So someone misses out. So that'll be the 4th place team.
Yeah.
That'll miss out then.
Which is currently Chelsea.
Oh, I'd like to be West Ham.
Anyway.
Anyway, here's the next question. Next question is Danny, isn't it? Phil Macker has put here, the new James Bond movie getting released or Arteta getting the sack. What will happen first?
I'm just gonna have to go with the James Bond film, because that's been put off more times than the new diet I'm going to start.
Great.
I've had sugar puffs today. That's all I'm fucking eating is sugar puffs, dry out of a box.
God, there you go. Make your urine smell.
Fuckers. Buy some sugar puffs. They're monstery. Fuck you, YouTube. I'm going to eat some while Carl's answering his question. Go.
I don't have a question.
I haven't finished because you were going on a tangent about fucking sugar puffs. I think that's all the questions, because Danny... Oh, no, it's another one from Julian. Don't worry, Carl. I have another one from Julian Salmon. He's a greedy boy, isn't he? Do you think, with everything that has happened recently, Kroenke will look to make more funds available in the summer to try and win over the fans? Sorry.
I honestly do. I honestly think he is going to put money into the club, because he knows the fans want him out badly. And fans have got a long memory, and we're not going to forget this. And I honestly think he's going to, I'm not going to say he's going to put like 200 mil up, because he's definitely not going to do that. But he'll give Arteta maybe 75 mil. That'd probably be loaned back to the, taken out the club in coffers somehow. But I honestly think he's going to put some money, and we will buy some players. I think that even though we got rid of a lot of dead wood in January with Ozil going, Mustafi, and getting sort of Kolasinac off the books for half the season, I think Kolasinac is going to need to go permanently, because after this he's got one more year, hasn't he? So we need to somehow get rid of him permanently. We do need an upgrade on Bellerin. We are going to get rid of David Luiz, because he's definitely going to go. We need to sort out our striker situation, because if we don't sell Lacazette, then we need to sign him up to a new contract, because he's only got one more year left. We need a central midfielder, 100%. We need a replacement for Tierney when he gets injured, because as Josh alluded to, oh my fucking hell, how many times have I said the word Josh in this bloody podcast? Jeez. What he's alluded to is whoever comes in to be the backup left back is going to play probably about 25 games in the season, just because of how injury prone Kieran Tierney is. So you're buying a backup left back to Tierney, but are you buying a real left back? And Tierney's actually the backup left back, to be honest now, because of his injury record. Who knows? So this squad has a lot of work that needs to be done to it. Whether we're in the Europa League next year, the Champions League next year, or just playing league football, we have seen that this squad is not good enough to compete in the Premier League. So this squad's got to be ripped apart, and if it needs to be done, then so be it. But I'm just hoping that the manager is backed.
Lovely.
So, yeah.
That marks the end of Question Time, sponsored by Sugar Puffs.
And Spotify.
And Spotify.
Before you close the show, Carl, and ask us for our shout-outs, I just want to say thank you to everybody who has given us money via Super Chats that we've now turned off, the Super Stickers, by the membership. If you are a member, I've sent you a 15-minute video that only the members can see. I mean, maybe one day I'll release it and you can all see it. But if you're listening to this, go and have a look at it. It's just a thank you from ABW for the 7 months that many of you have been giving us the money. We're turning all of the membership things off on Friday, so you don't get charged for another month. And we now have a Ko-fi, KO-FI. Just go and check our Twitter. It's on there. And the thing with that, we got a reminder from YouTube today saying that if you don't fill out your tax forms, we're going to charge you another 24%. So that's 64%, those fuckers. Fuck you, YouTube. 64% of any money. When if you give us a 10 quid by just using that as a round, now don't give a pound, just save it all out. A pound, they take 30% But if you give £10, then they end up taking about 35p. Whereas YouTube will take £6.40. So we don't really need your money. We had one lovely person who we're not going to mention, a friend of ours. He gave us enough money to pay for an entire season of podcasting. Very kind of you. Know you are. Thank you very much. And did I forgot to say fuck YouTube? And we were actually offered money from Twitch. We were offered £150 a month minimum to do all of our stuff on Twitch. A minimum of 20 hours a month. But we were only ever allowed to stream our podcast to Twitch live. We couldn't stream to anywhere else live. So I doubt very much you lot are going to go and use Twitch, are you? So we'll have to turn that down. We don't really need the money, but just wanted to say that. So if you are listening, go and listen to that, watch that video, because it'll be gone on Friday. There you go, Carl. That's all I had to say.
All right. So while I'm busy scrambling through Twitter to give my shout out, I will come to you, gentlemen. So, Ellis, who is your shout out to?
My shout out or gentleman's nod is to my friend George. It's more of a plug really for him. If any of our listeners from the North Carolina area or watch North Carolina basketball, you might want to give his podcast a listen. I think it's called ceilingistheroof.com is his website, and that's the name of his podcast. You can also follow him on Twitter. It's at British Tar Heel. And yeah, he talks a lot about, well, just general basketball, but he's a big follower of North Carolina, UNC. So there you go. If anyone out here listens to them or watches basketball or likes UNC, give his podcast a little listen.
We know a couple of people who live in North Carolina.
Yeah. Shredder.
And Drew. Drew moved. I don't know, it's not a secret. He's had enough. No, he left it. He went, screw you. So
I didn't know that. There you go.
North Kagilaki.
Right. Daniel, who's your gentleman's shout out to?
A friend of ours is back on Twitch. It's Corey, who's been on here a couple of times. Hopefully he'll come back and do a show with us. Corey's a mate of ours. Hello, Corey. Hello, Corey's son. Hello, Canada. Hello, Jeff.
Yes. My shout out is to a Twitter account called _Spurs Trophies. Every single day, this account tweets how many days it's been since Spurs hasn't won a trophy. So far, we are at 4,812. On Sunday, this account went apoplectic because it was very funny to see them lose another cup final, even though the year ends in one, and apparently that's when Spurs win cups. Apparently, I don't know, but that is who my gentleman's lost to, because the account is absolutely funny, and every day I do chuckle just a little bit more, just knowing that it's been so many days since that stupid club has not won a trophy. So give them a follow. It's _ Spurs Trophies, which is ironic because they don't have any. Silly club. Right. Daniel, you had to be here. So thank you for setting everything up and being the lovable guy that you actually are.
Well, thank you two very much for coming on. You two are my favourite. You're so much better than the morons I had on last week who didn't know anything about football, and I didn't like either of them, all three of them, whoever it was.
It was me. I was on last week, sorry.
Hey? Oh.
Racist bastard. That's what you are.
You're Norwichist.
How? What have I said about Norwich?
Wait there, Ellis. I'll get you some backup. Go.
You've been mean to both the two Norwich boys. I don't know. Have you actually been mean to Nicky? Probably not.
No, never.
Start that rumor.
Ellis. That's what it is. Ellis, I want to thank you for being here. I love podcasting with you, just because you are the second funniest person in ABW. Obviously after myself. Like the rest of them, Chris is just funny looking. Josh is just Danny's favorite, so he's just a Danny know-it-all. Like John is always working ever so hard.
I miss you, John.
He doesn't have
John
time.
actually now speaks with a Chinese accent. He's been dealing with him for so long.
Again, those are the views of Danny Sweetman and not of ABW.
And he knocks up a lovely egg fried rice. Oh, he's a dirty boy. It's got pubes in it, but you pick them out. It's lovely.
Right, I'm seriously just Dennis. Just say goodbye, please.
Goodbye, please.
Fuck off. Thank you, Carl.
No worries. We must do this again. Our next game is Villarreal. Danny hasn't sorted it out yet, but I'm sure in our WhatsApp groups, Danny's gonna ask for people to be on the show, not get any replies, throw a hissy fit, and then someone will pop up. But I have a feeling, I don't know why, that Femi is gonna do it, because Femi said he can do late games.
That'd be a treat.
So I've got a feeling that Femi's going to be on again. People, it could be just vicious rumors. So
can I just say, anyway, every time Danny pops fucking Femi up there, is he pouting in his photo? What is that about?
I don't know. It's his Twitter one. I don't know
it's
what
like
he's doing.
It's proper, like he's doing that fucking Blue Steel look from fucking Zoolander. Is it Blue Steel?
He's seen someone park in his parking space. What are you parking here for, boy? I'll have you.
Oh, God. Oh, right.
Get back to the sponsor.
Oh, my God. This is a Bergkamp Wonderland, an Arsenal podcast, which is currently sponsored by Spotify. People get a premium account. Hopefully, he will have enough money to buy Arsenal, put 200 million every year into our transfer kitty, and Mbappe will be ours one day. Right, thank you for listening, everyone. We shall speak to you after the Villarreal game if any of ABW can attend to do it. I can't because I just lose interest in Europa League games. Ellis has work. Josh has to do his new setup. Chris is busy doing his hair. John is busy doing work. And the rest of them, I have no idea. Well, so thank you to everyone. Thank you for listening. Thank you for donating. And always remember, everyone, #fuck Ellis. Goodbye, everyone.
#piss off Carl.